Alright, so today I'm going to be doing an unboxing of this refurbished item, and it's actually from ASUS. And I'll kind of pop it open here, and I'll show you. This is a GTX 470, and this is exactly how it came. So the card is in this bubble wrap, and then also in an anti-static bag. We'll pop it out there. So there we go. We've got a refurbished GTX 470, and it comes, well, if I make it so you can read it, it's got a 90-day limited warranty. But other than that, it's actually a pretty good looking card. See, we could do tri or possibly even quad SLI on it as well too. Two 6-pin connectors, which actually doesn't really seem right. That doesn't seem like enough in my opinion, but being that I've got a 460 on the test bench right now, that takes the same power connectors, but I don't know, we'll have to see. So anyway, also in the box, which I was kind of surprised, because usually when you see these refurbished, they come with nothing. Well, we have a driver and manual, which these drivers are probably fairly old. We've got a DVI to VGA, and that's actually unopened. And then we have a DVI to HDMI, that's unopened as well. And we've got a dual Molex to single 6-pin. We've got a speed setup manual in different languages, must just show us how to install it. And then, oddly enough, there is an ASUS kind of a CD wallet. So anyway, I was not going to complain. There was actually more stuff in there for a refurbished card than typically. So let's put it up on the test bench, and we'll see what this old guy will do. Okay, so we got the card in the test bench, got it running, the driver's installed. We're going to use the 301.24 version from NVIDIA. So now this is the minimum fan speed, and I'm going to take, which is 30, now I'm going to take it up to 50%. So it becomes just a little audible. Now I'm going to take it to 75%. And then it really kind of starts screaming there. That's a big jump there. That 25% makes a huge difference. And now I'm going to take it all the way to 90. And that sucker is screaming. And 100. Which actually 90 and 100 don't have much of a sound difference. But it's moving some serious air. Okay, now we're going to go back down to 50. So that's 50. And let's try 60. Okay, I would say 60 is decent. And then 70. Yeah, that's where it really starts making some noise at 70%. Of course, 80. Yeah, between 70 and 80 is a pretty good jump. And then back on auto, what really drops it down to quiet. Okay, so now let's take a look at some 3D Mark suites and see what we come up with. Okay, so I've run 3D Mark 11 3 times and took the average. And the P score that I got was 3563 with a graphical score of 4324. And then on the 3D Mark Vantage, I got an average score of 11,311 over the 3 times with a graphical score average of 13,973. So not a whole lot better than the 460 that I have reviewed as well, but I've noticed the clock speed is about 200 megahertz slower on the 470, which this is a reference 470. It's about 200 megahertz slower than the EVGA 560 with the free performance boost. Was like something around 823 megahertz, and this one is something like 607, I believe. So I noticed even though you get 607, even though you get way more cores, they're clocked at about 200 megahertz slower per core. So it really, out of the box, is maybe 10% better, which, you know, isn't huge even with the more cores. But I would imagine where you might start seeing some improvement on this particular card is in the overclocking. And I'm not a big fan of overclocking. You know, I think you could get some more performance out of it. Clearly it is better than a 460, but not as dramatically as I was hoping with the number of cores. I believe this has 448 and the 460 is 336. So it's 112 more CUDA cores, but you know, that's like 25% more cores, but we're only getting about a 10% better performance. So definitely this card here could be overclocked a bit, and perhaps there's some non-reference designs where they do bump the clock. The particular one I got from ASUS is the reference design at 607 megahertz. So, and I just about forgot anyway, but I'm going to pull up Folding at Home, and we'll see how many points per day this card produces before I do a final wrap-up. Maybe if I get antsy, I may try to overclock it in this video as well too. I'm not... Yeah, I will. I tell you what, I'll do the Folding at Home, and then I'll do an overclock and mess around with that, and then see what we get after we kind of max this card out. Alright, so the overclock I got, and I know I could have done better, but I got a, I went ahead and maxed out the voltages, and I got 750. I have heard of people getting up to 774, but I felt 750 is pretty safe. I might try to tweak the voltages down a little bit, but instantly when I click this overclock, I'm Folding at Home in the background. Man, I have a pretty aggressive fan profile where at 70 degrees the GPU fan ramps to 100% progressively up to 70 degrees. So I had to tune it back because it was just freaking ridiculous to have this thing running at 100 degrees on my test bench. I can't imagine what it would do inside of a case. So I don't know, without adequate cooling or maybe even water cooling, I don't know that I would run this card at 750 megahertz full time. It just, I don't know, just I'm not sure how well it will cool inside of a case, and it's also pretty loud. So I will let this run overnight with Folding at Home and see if we don't get any errors in the morning, which I doubt I will. It's I've seen, you know, like I said, I've seen another 24 megahertz on the core. I'm not going to attempt it, but I think 750 is pretty stable, and we'll just see how the temperatures fluctuate overnight. They kind of seem to have stabilized at 73 degrees right now. Let's see up here, there we go, 73 degrees. So we'll see how that works out for this clock, and then I'll be back in the morning and we'll do some more 3D Mark and 3D Mark 11 and 3D Mark Vantage testing and see if those get any better, which they should. Okay, so with this relatively high overclock, I would say, from 607 to 750 on the shader, you know, so that's pretty good. I mean, you're talking 143 megahertz. I feel, you know, that's a good overclock, and I didn't have any stability problems. So running 3D Mark 11 3 times and taking the average scores, I saw an 11% increase in the P score, which ended up being 3987, and I saw a 17% increase in the graphical score, which ended up being 5227 averaged over 3 times. And then on the Vantage, I ended up seeing a 8% increase up to 12,290, and that's a P-score, with a graphical increase of about 10%, bringing it to 15,496. So at that point, it really starts to kick the crap out of the 460. So really, these 470s of reference design need to be overclocked to reach their potential. I feel that you could probably get away with this as a 24/7 overclock as well too. The only thing you'd have to watch for is inside of a case. Might get a little warmer. Obviously, like we talked about before, this is on a test bench, and so it's, you know, doesn't have any kind of an oven effect. So that's one thing I'd make sure you got plenty of ventilation, or even water cooling. And in water cooling, hell, you might even be able to go further than 750 pretty easily. So that'll kind of wrap up the GTX 470. I think it, out of the box, the reference design is really not that much of a difference over the newer 460s, although you're comparing a newer 460 with an overclock, factory overclock, to an older 470 reference design. So, you know, but you can take the reference design and you can easily make it kick some serious ass. It just takes a little bit of tweaking. But anyway, that'll wrap it up, and as always, thank you guys for watching.